This was one of the many reasons I'd left the all-girls charter school I'd attended from 6th to 9th grade and was now a sophomore at Reginald R. Hero Preparatory School, aka Hero High. I handed Mary the slide I'd prepared. I'm fine. This is done. You should be able to see the gram-negative bacteria in pink. Want the first look? Or have you already done this experiment a million times? Only once. My parents had no patience for repetition. I learned lessons the first time, or I figured them out on my own in secret. I'd had to memorize picture books on their first read, because there were no endless nights of Curious George or Harry the Dirty Dog. Instead, I'd gotten lectures on the bad science in the first. No real anthropologist would behave like that. And the lack of observational skills in the second. The premise is they don't recognize their dog because he's dirty. They aren't fit pet owners. They shouldn't be allowed to raise children. My parents were experts at being judgmental, even in areas where they lacked expertise. Raising children? Not unless you counted child rearing by proxy. We hadn't shared a roof for more than a week in 8 years. Not since the disaster in Brazil. Ooh, pretty. Mary didn't move away from the eyepiece, but she kicked my stool. Her sister, Rory, had painted dogs in top hats on the toes of Mary's canvas shoes. I had a pair with double helixes in my closet. They were next to the shoes I wanted to be wearing right now, my sneakers, preferably with my treadmill beneath their soles. Brand new eraser pink? Or kitten's tongue? I laughed, pulling my thoughts away from the workout I had planned for tonight. Not the one I'd record in my log for my parents, but the additional miles I'd run after I'd taken off my iLive wristband. They'd think I was showering or studying for the hour it charged. Instead, that time was mine. A whole 60 minutes where I was breaking rules and setting my own pace, literally and figuratively. Kitten? Who are you and what have you done with Merrilee? Tobias May, her other best friend, turned around at the lab table in front of ours. He was annoying, but he wasn't wrong. Mary was a canine person to her core, courtesy of her parents' specialty pet boutique, Haute Dog. Kittens' tongues are pinker. Mary stated it like a fact. She was good at selling self-invented facts as truths. Plus, I couldn't think of other pinks. I'll have to ask Rory. Toby grinned. He'd started dating Mary's younger sister 8 days ago on New Year's Eve. This had made him more tolerable, both because he'd finally gotten over his unrequited crush on Mary and because he was around a lot less. Also, he and Rory were endurably adorable. I'd been scrutinizing how the traits that irritated me about each of them seemed smoothed when they were together. I was very observant. I would have made a great pet owner, able to identify my dog dirty, clean, shaved, dyed, etc., if I'd been allowed to have one. But lately, my observational skills had been focused on all the couples around me. Toby and Rory, Mary and Headmaster Williams's son, Fielding, his sister, Sarah, and her girlfriend, Hannah. The more people that paired up, the more the walls felt like they were closing in on me. So, how are things going at the BBB? Mary asked Toby and his lab partner. Don't encourage him, I muttered, but it was too late. Curtis Cavendish grinned over his shoulder. He nicknamed everything. 5-foot Mary was Short Stack. Toby was his last name, May. Thin ballerina Sarah was Tiny Dancer. Our cafeteria table was the Lunch Bunch. They weren't clever nicknames. That would be expecting too much. He'd tried giving me a nickname once. I'd made it clear that repeating it would be at his own peril. Their lab table was BBB, Brown Bros Bench, because Toby was Latinx and Curtis was biracial, white dad and Egyptian mom. They could call themselves whatever they wanted. My problem was with the person who'd turned around to fully face us, almost knocking a box of slides to the floor as he leaned his elbows on the lab bench behind him. Curtis crossed his long legs at the ankles, highlighting his red and yellow stripes.